Hello Internet and the people therefore on it. Welcome to Bits and Pieces, and today we're looking at joypads, specifically for the Xbox 360. A little bit more specifically, what is meant to be the PC's version. Okay, so you take a gander at that and you'll notice a wire. Yes, I bought the wired version because I couldn't be bothered to buy the dongled version because that was far more expensive by a good £15 in some cases, depending on where I went looking. But it's pretty much identical in all regards to the regular Xbox 360 joypads, apart from some slight colour differences. The D-pads are in black, the grey bit that would normally be here is now black. There's no battery pack section whatsoever, but otherwise it feels absolutely identical. I gave this a try on the Xbox 360 itself, and it works absolutely fine. In fact, it might just be a little delusional on my part, but it did feel like it was just slightly faster when it was being used for the menu screens. I'll just put that down there. I don't know if that's just me being a little deluded or not, but that's just how it felt. And here's one I bought specifically for the Xbox itself. Feels identical in all regards, except of course you've got the battery pack here. You'll see I've changed the packs over at some point. And exactly the same thing. The eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that it's actually worn down here a bit. I'm not quite sure. That might tell you just how much, perhaps too much time I play games in some cases, but there you go. I was thinking about buying the dongle, but when I saw the price, like I say, I decided not to bother. If you do buy the dongle, and basically can use the regular pads like this, or this, on your PC, in addition to the one that you buy with the dongle itself. This was the one that came with my Xbox 360, it's the original white version that came with it. Still works a treat. I do remember when I first got this, there was a little trouble with the X button. I kept sticking ever so slightly, but some righteous hammering at it did sort that out eventually. And they're good solid pieces. You know, this has lasted a good number of years. I just went with this one because I was sick and tired of the colour problems with this thing. As it's white, it picks up the dirt quite easily, as you might be able to see. And I haven't been able to shift it no matter what I've done with it, which admittedly isn't much. But just going back to this one, Old Faithful as I like to call it, everything is in perfect working order. You'll notice that this is a little bit shiny, it's a little bit more chromy than that version is, and the weight balance is pretty much the same. This is slightly heavier, simply because of the battery pack. And the only thing that slightly puts me off this is the fact that you don't have the battery pack there. My fingers are used to touching against that now, as a sort of additional support in some regards. You don't have that here. But overall it is incredibly comfortable to use. Because after all, it's built based on the same design as this, apart from the battery pack not being there. But c'est la vie. All in all, comfortable, practical, still quite stylish. Works on the PC, works on the Xbox 360. I don't know about the actual Xbox itself, and I don't believe it works on the Xbox One. I believe there are some technical reasons why that may be, but I can't be bothered to look them up. But in general terms, if you do need a replacement joypad, something dedicated specifically for the PC, or even if you're sick of changing batteries all the time, which I've got to be honest, annoys me very, very much in a lot of regards. I mean, hands up if you played Assassin's Creed and your batteries have run out, and unlike every other game out there, it does not pause to stop you from being killed. Even managing to get the batteries working again and getting the game paused to change the batteries, as soon as you take the batteries out, it unpauses. What is the point? As a result, you end up dying, have to restart the mission or whatever it was you were doing before. Which is annoying, but there's probably other games do that as well. But most games I've played have the decency to pause so that you don't end up having that problem. You might have a bit of an issue with USB ports. If you have a USB port 3.0, 3.0, whichever you prefer to pronounce it as, it sometimes doesn't actually recognise it. But if you run the diagnostic software, that usually sorts it out. I've got 8 USB ports 8 USB ports on my PC. They're all 3.0, 3.0, and this seems to be set up as a 2.0, 2.0, which is a bit naff nowadays, I suppose, but there you go, that's the way they want to play it, I suppose. That appears to have been a problem with a certain other joypad I bought and had to return, because it just wouldn't work no matter what I did. But you can see that review for that. Well, I'm going to call it quits for the time being. Arrivederci.